So all the markets in Asia, whether it's Japan, Korea, China, Singapore, Malaysia, wherever the company had their offices, and to support them on the sales as well as on the technical aspect, giving the complete engineering documentation, pre-bid submission. So all those were being done from India.
Hi everyone. Welcome to the esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I am Smith at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. We have one such corporate stalwart veteran on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Mr. Umesh Kumar. He's a skilled executive with a proven track record of success in domestic and international markets across various industries. In his current position as CEO and Managing Director of Tex Energy DMCC, he has spearheaded sustainable growth initiatives through innovation and strategic partnerships, providing a complete engineered solutions to clients. Thank you so much, Mr. Umesh, for joining us today.
Thank you, Smith. Thank you very much for the nice introduction, and thank you, WDC, for providing this opportunity. Yes, you mentioned that I have over 3 decade experience. Yes, if I look back, yeah, I'm getting old. So 37 years is what I am now, almost working in the corporate. I started my corporate journey in 1987 after I graduated from one of the premier institutes in engineering from NIT, and then I started working for an Indian company, Lloyd Insulation, which was India's largest company providing thermal solution. Basically, they are a manufacturer and contracting company doing thermal insulation for oil and gas, power, chemical, petrochemical, and various kind of industries. I worked with them for nearly 3 years. The major focus of the company was with thermal insulation, but there was one other division in the company which was electrical heat tracing system. Heat tracing is basically providing heating on the pipeline which are moving from one location to another in the pipeline, because there are various products which are transferred in the industry. They are highly viscous and can solidify in the pipeline even at higher ambience, even 50 degrees Celsius. So these require continuous heating, and Lloyd Insulation was working with an American company, Raychem. So Raychem was world's largest heat tracing manufacturer, and Lloyd Insulation was providing the heat tracing solutions to the customers. So I joined directly with the executive director in the company, who is now currently holding the managing director position. I was nurtured by him personally, had a lot of discussion because he was also quite young at that time, and we made a good team. So slowly, I was given the all India responsibility. I was traveling a lot, meeting all the customers all around India. So that journey with Lloyd Insulation continued till 1990. In 1991, I started working directly with Raychem as a consultant. So I was handling their all India business, traveling around doing the same thing which I was doing with Lloyd Insulation, and we maintain more than 90% market share with the company. Raychem was acquired by another American company, Tyco. You must have the name Tyco International, which was among the top 5 Fortune 500 companies. So Tyco acquired Raychem in 1999, and in India they still had a joint venture with Raychem, RPG Group. So this joint venture now was known as Raychem RPG, and this was continuing. But Tyco wanted that to support their global operations, they will like to have a engineering setup in India. So since I was working for the company, I had the technical expertise, knowledge, and the company was looking for somebody who can help them to start their operations in India. So I was asked if I will be interested to take up this challenge. I say, okay, let's start. And so I started with one engineer and AutoCAD person, the company's operations in India, and started slowly growing. So we were initially supposed to support the Asia market. So all the markets in Asia, whether it's Japan, Korea, China, Singapore, Malaysia, wherever the company had their offices, and to support them on the sales as well as on the technical aspect, giving the complete engineering documentation, pre-bid submission. So all those were being done from India. In a 1 year, we grew to about 75 people. So the business grew, and then I was asked to take up the sales responsibility, which was my prime focus to start the Asia operation. So I started traveling to Singapore, Malaysia on a regular basis. And then I was asked that Japan, which was one of the big markets, was having difficulties in the EPC. These EPC companies are basically like they to take up the complete plant manufacturing or plant execution jobs on engineering, procurement, construction basis. So there were very big EPC companies in Japan, and for 8 years, there was not a single order which had come to Japan. This was tried from Europe and US, but say maybe it's the Asian culture. Why don't you take up this challenge and start to visit the customers? So I started visiting Japan, started to learn about the people, how we can support them. There were a lot of issues coming up initially, but then slowly we started building up the rapport, building up the trust, and we started moving in the right direction. And in 3 years' time, we had almost about 95% of business from the for the company from these EPC companies. The disadvantage initially when I started going was that the largest competitor had about 23 engineers sitting in Japan itself. They were actually sitting virtually in the customer's office and providing the support to them. Okay. I say, okay, let us take up this challenge and started working with them on a regular basis, started interacting, understanding what are the problems, what are the issues they come up. The advantage what I had that I was not only good in engineering, but I had the sales background as well as I had the field experience as well. So I could give them the solutions whichever they wanted across the table, whereas the other people had to refer back to the head office. And so this built up the trust of the customer, and they started liking, they started giving the business, and we maintain more than 90% of the share of the company. And then after I was very successful in Japan, then the company started looking for some major projects in India. So they say, why don't you additionally take up these challenges as well? Kane Energy was coming up with a very large pipeline in India, which was more than 600 kilometers long. It was carrying crude oil, which was highly viscous, and even in the Rajasthan to Gujarat area where this pipeline was to travel at 55, 60 degree temperature, and the ambient is 30, 35 degrees C. So it could solidify. So there were problems, and so I started visiting the customer, explain them what it requires to do, and how heat tracing can help. So I was traveling to Chennai. They had a head office in Chennai every 2 weeks. Explaining them slowly they started building up the confidence that okay, this technology should help them, and then they shifted to Delhi, and then I was sitting in their office almost 4 days in a week. People were so frequent in seeing me there, they thought I'm working for Kane Energy. So that was the whole scenario. It changed, and then they said that okay, you have to go to the UK to convince our management. I went to management meeting in the Scotland, explained them about the technology, then all met all the stakeholders and slowly started to work with them. Then when the company decided, okay, they would like to go for this kind of technology, but there was no reference of such a high length pipeline. So this was the longest pipeline which was to be heated. The largest was about 30, 40 kilometers. So they asked, what is the guarantee? I said, you have to replicate that. That's the only thing. We give you heating for 20 kilometers. and then we repeat it by 30 times. So they say, okay, let's go ahead with it. So they proposed it to the government of India, and then I was requested by the Clean Energy CEO that I should accompany him to give this presentation to the government of India officials. I visited with him, made the presentation, and the project was through. And finally, we got this job from the Clean Energy. It took more than 3 years from the start to getting the business. I started in 2004, and 2007 actually I could get the business. So it took more than three years to get the business. So this is one of the premier project. I'm very proud of this because this pipeline is still the longest heated pipeline. There is no other pipeline which has come up which is as long as this heated pipeline. So then there were some other businesses also. There were quite a big business from Reliance. So we had a good share in the market. During this time, another MNC approached me. So it was named as Bartek, as you mentioned. So I started their operations, moved with them to Dubai, started the company's operation. The company actually had a setup here. Small setup was there, and it was running in heavy losses. So okay, let's restructure the company, walked around, brought new people, brought new products, started implementing the same thing which I did in Taiko. So it was just a repetition of what action was done, and the success started to come. And we, in 3 years' time, from the last position within the whole group, came to number 4 position with the all losses wiped out, and the company was in black with good profits. And we always maintained that position till the time I was with the company, and we were one of the highest profit earner within the group. We always were within the top 5 companies within the group. During my tenure in the company, then I started the engineering setup for the whole group, wherein we were supporting the company. Then I started local assembly for some of the products in Dubai. I acquired a company in Saudi to start the company's operation and started local manufacturing in Saudi. So that was, I was working with them from 2007 December till 2016. Then 2016, I left the company and started Tex Energy. So I'm still continuing with Tex Energy so far for last 8 years. And during this time, we came across SST Group, which is originally a Russian company, but we formed a joint venture with them in 2018 and started working for them. We brought a lot of business for them, but in 2021, we had to terminate our joint venture with them because COVID was also going on there, and there was some differences which appeared between the two shareholding companies. So we decided it's better to part ways amicably, and they are independent. Now we are working again in Tex Energy. So Tex Energy, we basically are doing marketing. We work with world's top leading MNCs in oil and gas. We supply electrical and instrumentation products and mechanical items as well. And now we also have started our local assembly in UAE. So that is what we are looking forward to, that we are working as a license partner with a French and one Italian. So this is what has been the journey all around, and it is quite exciting. In fact, when I passed out from the college, I was eagerly looking forward to start working for the corporate. I don't know, but I was quite excited as a lot of my friends were looking to start MBA or other thing, but my aim was no, I have to go and start working for the corporate. That was the I was looking forward to that. And in my last 37 years, I have started 3 large multinational companies. First was Tyco, second was Bartek, and third was joint venture with SST. And then I have started 3 other companies as well. So total 6 companies which I have been involved in starting, and all these companies have been running well, are profitable, and continue to do the business.
I think I would like to
That was our
congratulate
journey.
you for
Thank you.
that. It's an amazing feat. You've traveled across continents and you have extensive experience in international business development. So, what are some of the challenges that you faced when you while entering new markets, and how did you overcome them?
Actually, like I mentioned during my journey, the first country where I started focusing was Japan. And when I started going to Japan, the biggest barrier was the language. The people were looking forward to talk to in Japanese, whereas I did not know even J of the Japanese. So that was the problem. But then we had a team in Japan who was helping with me. So they worked with me as a translator. And when we were visiting the customers, so they helped to translate. The EPC company, some of the people knew English, but still their preference was to talk in Japanese. So it was good that the people who were there, they helped me on the language translation. And then other issue was that the Japanese are very punctual. And if you tell them you will deliver at particular time, so they would like to have dot on that time. They just don't want to be delayed by even a second. So while coming from the India, that was a challenge. So we have been working around, but then the people who were supporting, they had different mindset. They initially thought, okay, like in India, if we are telling that customer will give it today at 12, even if I give at 4 o'clock, it will be accepted. But then the Japanese were very particular. So that was a challenge. But we overcame. I had to train my people. We had to change our mindset as well. And we did that successfully. And that was taken care. And in fact, when initially we started working, we were working for one of the largest Japanese EPC companies. And the first major order which I had received was we wanted to be extra careful to deliver. So I sent the engineering head to Japan and one senior engineer. You go there and sit with the client and work out how we can solve their engineering issues. So they were sitting for almost about 45 days together. And I was getting every day, there are problems, this problem, other problem. And so I decided, okay, let me go there. So I recalled my engineering manager. I said, now you come back. I will go and take care of this. Because if this continue, then we will surely lose this business, which we have worked so hard. So I called up the customer. I'm coming to your office at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I will leave your office when we have resolved all your engineering issues. I will not leave before that, whether I'm sitting 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, or any time. But I will resolve, and then only I will come out of your office. So we entered at 7 o'clock in their office, and we were sitting till 1 o'clock in the morning next day. But we did 100% resolution of their issues and came out. So that was a good thing to happen because the customer developed trust. Okay, this is the person whom we can trust. He's going to deliver. So this was a good thing to happen, that there were these issues, but we could resolve them successfully, and this built up my reputation, cooperation with the customer. So that was some of the points which I would like to raise is the difficulties and how these were addressed.
That's amazing, and you were so hands-on, and especially with a very different and difficult cultural market like Japan. It's very interesting. So, what is the success mantra that you've lived by that has helped you in your professional success?
Yeah, basically I have lived what I call is 6C. Basically, it's the commitment, whether it is the time commitment or the quality commitment or whatever commitment has been made. So I have tried to live up to my commitments. I don't like to go back. If I'm committing something, then I will ensure those things are delivered as have been promised. Second was because these companies were evolving. I was the persons to start. So second was the cooperation. I was building a team, so I had to look for their cooperation. I had to give my cooperation to them. So that is what I was looking. So second C was the cooperation. Third was communication, internal communication and the external communication, whether it was with team, whether it was with the customers or any other stakeholders. So I made sure that what we are talking is if the communication should be clear, it should be complete. It should not that I'm giving some half instruction and waiting for something other person to understand on his own, and then it has to be correct. So that 3C and then the conduct, how you conduct yourself, how you are behaving, that carries a lot of value, because if you do something what you are preaching, nobody is going to trust. So that is there. And then fifth was the confidence. I was very confident that I will be able to take up that challenge, and management of the companies always trusted me. I always had their confidence, and my confidence was even higher because of that. Then was the character. I always have believed that you have to have a strong character if you want to succeed in the role as a corporate leader. If you want to grow in the organization, then you always have to have a strong character. So these were the 6 C's, like I mentioned. So I took a leave when I was looking around that how we can conduct ourselves. So these I have always believed and worked on that basis.
And I think these C's can be translated in our lives also, and not just be limited to the corporate field. It's very.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
So, how and when did you feel the need to widen your professional purview with ESG and corporate governance?
Actually, I saw one of the videos of Mr. Jishan and Heval Mehta and say, okay, let me look at how this actually goes on. So age is catching up and growing old, and at one point of time, I have to move away from the day-to-day heavy load activity. So I was looking something lighter as well. So I said, okay, this looks interesting. If I can contribute to the growth of the companies or for the environment or people around me, so let me look at that. So I looked up and then attended one of the webinars. And then it was looking quite interesting. So I said, okay, let's take up this and started with WDC for that.
And as an ESG and corporate governance expert, what values do you think you'll bring to the table?
Basically, you need to understand what is ESG and the social governance. You have to see basically the environmental, social, and governance. These are the three factors. And when you look at that, the world is evolving. The world is shrinking. There are a lot of international companies which are coming up in India. Indian companies are moving around, and there are a lot of responsibilities which these people are required to carry on their shoulders. So they must conduct in a similar manner which the international companies are operating. So environmental is basically the E stands for environmental, and how you behave, whether you are taking care of the environmental issues which are coming, whether you're taking the pollutions, whether you're taking the green gases emissions, or there are a lot of other things which happen around waste management. So if you are able to take care of these issues, then you are in the green zone. Because otherwise there are going to be a lot of penalties. The investors are also looking up on the companies which are in the green zone, because their investment goes into these companies on a regular basis. They want to acquire the company, they want to become a shareholder or a partner for the growth of the company, and so they also are looking up to these. Then if you are not following the norms, then this could lead to problem. Other issue which may come up with the penalties. If you are emitting a lot of gases into the environment, or you're leading a lot of effluents into the water, or spoiling the soil, so the company may lose its license as well. As basically the social, what and how you are impacting the social, how you are taking care of your people, how you are taking care of your customer, how you are taking care of your employees, how you are helping the society around, what is your human rights. So these things are required. In fact, I was reading at some place that CSR, that corporate social responsibility, India is the first country who has put up mandatory uh, expenditure of about 2% of the their profit, net profit, to be spent on the development of the society, so that the company is not only required to make the profit, but they are also required to spend part of it for the development of the society. Because we are getting so much from the society, it's our duty to spend part of it for the development of the society, because we are living in a society, and if we don't build up the environment around us, then we cannot expect growth coming up in the future. And the governance is basically within the companies, how the rules are defined, how the governance is there, how are the practices, because there could be different setup in the bigger companies. There are shareholders there, and there are the board of directors. They may have different agenda as well. So they all have to align together. Because shareholder are the ones who have invested the money, they may have certain policies, and these are required to be followed up in line with the other government requirements. So that's what I believe, that when I look up my history, I have been doing all these kind of activities with the different companies, whether it's American company or it's German company or Russian company. So I have a lot of experience. I believe that if I work with a company in that position, I will be able to help them look into all these aspects, how they are reporting, what are the points which are required to be taken up, so that they become the green zone.
Let's move on to technology now. What changes do you expect to see with the advent of IoT, machine learning, blockchain, AI, big data, Web 3.0?
All these companies, all these technologies are changing the world. Actually, I came to know about IoT, that was about 15 years back, when my Vartech days, we were trying to do a few of the things in IoT. So IoT was basically then when we were looking for the plants in oil and gas. So there some equipment we wanted to have a control. In Vartech, we were actually manufacturing handheld devices like mobile phones and tablets. So which was basically called explosion. You must have seen that when you go to a gas station or a petrol station, they say that mobiles are not allowed. But the mobile phones which we were manufacturing is safe. They will not create any spark. So we were using that, and we try to use that in the oil and gas industry, chemical, petrochemical, because they have the hazardous environment, and the gases which are present can lead to explosion. If there is a device which is used, can create spark. So this helped the people to understand and work on this IoT. But IoT is just the beginning. Then the new things like blockchain. Now, IoT in itself is a very small part, and it's easy. So I give you an example. So if a hacker wants to control a refinery, want to create a hazard in the refinery, can hack these IoT-based equipment. He may lead to some explosion. He may lead to some chemical spillage, or can do anything with these. So, but if they are combined with blockchain, because blockchain is not centralized, but this is a decentralized. There are nodes where the data is stored, and it's continually expanding. And if blockchain is used with IoT, then it becomes quite difficult. Rather, it's virtually impossible that somebody can control this. And blockchain is again, you may know that this is the backbone for the cryptocurrencies, because this is reliable, this is secure, and the world is moving in a different direction, like I mentioned, cryptocurrencies. So they are looking for some safer operation where they can maintain their privacy and data is not breached. So these will help. Again, you mentioned about the big data. Again, this is very fast data transfer. So a lot of data is now moved from one location to another, and this big data is helping on that, because the faster it is required. Then cloud is quite commonly known that even our mobile phone, what we are using, a lot of data is being stored on the cloud. So then you have digital twins. Digital twin is basically it's virtual reality. So these technology, when they are being implemented in the real life, whether it is the industry, whether on a personal basis, we see a lot of application, and these are going to evolve more. Artificial intelligence. So you are traveling to the other destination, you go to the airport, you will see that a lot of AI applications are there. You go to a real estate agent and he will show you all around AI. So a lot of applications are coming up for that. You go for the hotel booking, hospital, or a lot of AI is being used. Chat GPT, which is coming up in a big way. We are also all using, and so many companies are new coming up, which will come up of that. With regard to the Web3, that I believe is going to revolutionize when they will come together with these technology. It will be actually seeing the world in front of you. So I'm quite optimistic that these technologies are going to come. But again, with the new technology, you have to be careful how these things are going to protect yourself. The companies which are developing are taking care of personal security, because what we see all around that a lot of frauds in the banking are happening. People are trying to take your data, steal. So those things are required to be taken care. But I'm quite optimistic that these things are going to help the society in a big way.
Absolutely. So we're building a community of industry magnates, and this move is meant for cross-pollination of knowledge and for building a knowledge-sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. What are your thoughts about this initiative taken by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Heval Mehta, and the whole World Development Corporation team?
I'm thankful to them for providing me this opportunity, and because of their initiative, we are talking together. So I'm quite optimistic that what they are doing is a right, and they are moving in the right direction. They are building up the team of the professional, and they are helping the society, because when the professionals who come up with the experience, who have the required knowledge, and then they move in the different industry, this is definitely going to benefit the whole industry as well as the country. So I'm thankful to them for their initiative. I'm wishing all the success to them, and I wish that they continue doing similar kind of things.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Umesh, today. And I'm so sure that all your insights will inspire our future leaders. And I wish you all the best for your future endeavors. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Smith. Thank you very much. It was pleasure meeting you. Take
Same,
care. God bless.
lovely conversing with you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.